What is going on, fam? It's your girl Abiola Akani here with a new YouTube video. Man, it's been a hot minute, y'all. It's been a hot minute since I've been on the tube. If you are a subscriber of mine, long time no see, it's good to see you again. And also, you are probably very well aware that I took a little YouTube hiatus, which we sometimes need to do when we feel really unhappy with the results of the platform. I am coming back, as you can see from the title, to share some really exciting news with y'all and something that I've been really wanting to do for a very long time. I am going on a silent Buddhism retreat to the lovely Costa Rica with teachers that I really feel honored to be learning from. In all my years of teaching and being a space holder, I've never allowed myself to go on a retreat or any type of kind of sabbatical for continued education for myself. I've been talking about gifting this to myself for over 7 years. I've just gotten to the point where I am going to do this for my effing self. I don't know if I can curse on the YouTube, but I'm gonna be doing this for my fucking self. The last time we spoke, I shared why I wanted to take a break from YouTube. I've been on YouTube since 2014, and at the time, I wanted to be on YouTube to share my own yoga experience. I wanted to share the self-healing benefits of the practice. And the more that I was on YouTube, I really had no expectation in the beginning, but then, after a few years, you really want to see that growth. And I haven't really seen that growth happen for me as much as I would like to on this platform. But also, I have to be honest and see that I haven't really been doing what I want to do on this platform. I've just been doing what I know to do, which is to teach and to offer space for other people. And it's time for me to really tap into what my true desires are and be fucking unapologetic about them. What has led me to this discovery of really being unapologetic about my desires and owning them is coming off the heels of this last baacckk yoga teacher training, which is the 200-hour yoga teacher training that I created with a phenomenal group of facilitators and friends of mine, people who are my teachers. And we put a lot of work into this, and it's been in fruition for several years. And we just hosted our second YTT, and it was hard as fuck. It was so emotionally draining, I know, for myself, but also for the students and for the facilitators. And as the founder and the creator, it's really disheartening for me to have my instructors and my facilitators be put in a situation where they don't feel like they're receiving the encouragement that they need to keep doing this. Look at what their needs are first, and it's been really disheartening for them, which is disheartening for me. Also, I see that I'm really intertwined into the yoga teacher training process, and it's probably wise for me to remove myself a little bit to create boundaries and hold space for myself, because I don't need to be doing all of it. And I'm not skilled to be doing all of it. I'm only skilled to be doing what I'm really good at and what I know I do well. And the areas where I don't feel like I'm a really great space holder, I can really bring in some phenomenal facilitators and instructors to handle the reins in that part, and that's okay. What this YTT has also helped me to discern in being more honest about my desires and not serving from a place of suffering or survival. What I've noticed is that I've been in this space as a teacher and a space holder and an energy worker for several years. And what was so liberating for me about the practice of yoga gave me the ability to not only embody my own sobriety, it also gave me these self-healing tools that I recognized were alive in my own being. And I've always wanted to be able to allow folks to become aware of the healer within their own bodies through the practice of yoga as it offered for me. During the time I was doing the healing within the practice, I was constantly living from a place of survival and suffering. So even when I was serving y'all, when I've been serving the YouTube community, when I've been serving as a teacher, I've been serving from a place of survival and suffering. And I see that that's what I was doing with this YTT. I was continuing to serve from this root chakra place, although I'm no longer in that position. And with that, I need to begin to serve from a place of more truth, knowing that that's no longer where I live. So I need to really become more acquainted with my truest and deepest desires beyond my root chakra, beyond survival, and really serve from there. And note that I will most likely not be for everybody as I get closer to my truest desires of why I do this work. I will most likely become more and more niche, and that is okay. And that is so liberating for me. That is probably the most liberating thing I've gotten from this YTT, and what I want to continue to hold space for as we usher in the next cohort, so that this feels gratifying for my facilitators and my teachers and for myself. You can make a whole bunch of money and never feel gratified by the work that you do because you didn't feel like it was received in the way you were hoping. And you also felt like you didn't meet the mark of the expectations of the people you went out to serve. And that shows a misalignment there. And I cannot ignore that. What I found is that there is a different desire in every chakra based on the trauma that you hold there. So we're wanting to ultimately gain victory over a certain amount of trauma in every chakra. And when we gain victory over that trauma or begin to bring our awareness to it, that awareness alone, that acknowledgement begins to balance it out. And I've gained the victory in my root chakra, as well as my sacral chakra from the sexual trauma that I upheld. So now it's time for me to explore my desires in a higher chakra. Going into this silent retreat, what I'm really hoping to explore and to get is to remove this urgency that I feel constantly. I've been learning a lot about human design. If y'all don't know about human design, highly recommend you look into it if you're really into kind of understanding the mechanisms of how you think beyond your physical body, really tapping into the emotional intelligence of your being. In human design, I've learned that I'm a projector, and in that I am not required to like push and try to do things so hard and to grind and to hustle, which is all that I've known my entire life, which is a huge part of existing and serving from that survival and suffering position. And because of that, I've been very dissatisfied with the results that I've gotten in my life. And what I'm uncovering is that I don't have to do that. It's not required of me. All I need to do is intuitively tap into what feels righteous in my body and move in that. It's not part of my DNA to look at someone else's way of doing things and try to duplicate or replicate or copy it, but I have a really divine ability to introduce new ways of being into the world. And my work is to intuitively tap into that and create from there. And I've never really allowed myself to do that to the extent that I know that I could. And it's because of this deep sense of urgency that I've put on myself, and as a result that I've put on other people. And so learning more about my human design, and as I move into going onto this retreat and spending some time in deep thought and self-inquiry and meditation, I'm looking forward to this urgency falling off of my body, or slowly coming to the root and the resolution as to why that is, so that I can step out of that skin and really begin to be in what is for me. So this is a silent Buddhism retreat, y'all. Meaning no phones, no internet, no devices, and no talking. And I've been doing a lot of talking for the past 2.5 months with this YTC, so I'm kind of excited to not have to say anything to anybody. I have a feeling that it's going to bring up a lot of different things. It sounds easier to say no phones, no devices, and no talking, but I imagine that's going to be quite challenging. So I'm looking forward to, after the retreat is done, coming back on here and giving y'all a little bit of a quick update on the experience and sharing a little bit more about the retreat center and the teachers to see if it's something that you yourself would want to practice, especially if you are currently a yoga teacher, a space holder, or a wellness practitioner looking to hold space for other bodies. I'm also excited that I'll be spending a little bit of time in Costa Rica after the retreat is over and just taking some time once again to slow down, remove the urgency, and settle into my truest desires from a higher chakra, as opposed to just that root survival suffering place, but coming up and moving up to what my desires are in my higher chakras. And I'm looking forward to doing that during the retreat and after the retreat by just spending a little bit of time in this big, beautiful foreign country and just letting myself kind of do nothing, which I don't ever let myself do. If you are in that family, that grind girl go, then you know how necessary it is for us to have time of respite to do nothing. That is our work, so that we can be comfortable enough to know that the little we do is more than enough. So I wanted to give y'all that quick update. This is short and sweet. I will check back with you after the retreat. Let me know some things that you are looking to know about Costa Rica as well, so I can start to plan some things that I can share with you. I can tell you a little bit about the areas that I'm planning to go if you're wanting to take a trip. So let me know some things in the comments that you would be interested in learning that I could offer to you. Thank y'all for tuning in. I will see y'all very soon. Be sure to follow your girl on the gram at Yoga by Biala and Pura Vida. See you soon, y'all.